The Stardust Drifter, a vessel that had danced on the edges of known space, its hull scarred by cosmic dust and its sensors seasoned by the whispers of distant nebulae, now found itself adrift in a region marked on its navigational charts as a stark, empty void. This wasn't merely a sector lacking in populated systems. It was a cosmic desert, a region where the very fabric of space seemed to thin, where the usual symphony of stellar radiation and planetary echoes was replaced by an unnerving, absolute silence. Captain Zara Kalin, a woman whose face was a map of deep space voyages, etched with the lines of countless sunrises and the shadows of cosmic storms, stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the main view screen. The void stretched out before them, an endless expanse of black, punctuated only by the faint, distant pinpricks of stars that seemed to shrink away in the face of the overwhelming darkness. Zara had navigated through asteroid fields that shimmered like diamond dust and traversed nebulae that glowed with the ethereal beauty of creation. But this was different. There was a weight to the silence, an oppressive stillness that pressed in on the ship, amplifying the hum of the life support systems and the subtle whir of the environmental controls until they seemed like thunder in the void. "Any readings, Jian?" she asked, her voice a low, steady rumble that cut through the silence. Lieutenant Jian, a young man whose nervous energy was a stark contrast to Zara's seasoned calm, tapped furiously at his console, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. His brow was furrowed, his eyes darting between the sensor readings and the main view screen. "Nothing, Captain," he reported, his voice tight. "Absolutely nothing. It's like the sensors are picking up a vacuum, a complete absence of everything." Zara nodded, her gaze still fixed on the void. She had a deep respect for the unknown, a healthy fear of the spaces where the laws of physics seemed to bend and break. It wasn't the lack of stars that bothered her, nor the absence of planets or asteroids. It was the quality of the silence, the way it seemed to seep into the ship, filling every corner, every crevice, every empty space between the atoms of their hull. It was as if the void itself was a living entity, watching them, waiting. The Stardust Drifter was a veteran of deep space exploration, a modified survey vessel with a reputation for venturing where others feared to tread. Its hull was reinforced with ablative armor, its sensors were calibrated to detect even the faintest whispers of radiation, and its warp drive was capable of pushing the boundaries of known physics. But even with all its advanced technology, the ship felt vulnerable in this vast, empty expanse. It was like a lone sailboat adrift in an ocean of ink, surrounded by the unknown depths. "Captain," Jian said, his voice laced with a hint of urgency, "I'm picking up something faint." Zara's attention snapped back to the sensor readings. "What is it?" "I'm not sure," Jian replied, his fingers flying across the console. "It's a pulse, a rhythmic pulse, very low frequency. It's almost subsonic." The pulse was barely perceptible, a subtle vibration that resonated through the ship's hull. Like a heartbeat in the void, it was a faint, steady rhythm, a counterpoint to the oppressive silence, a sign that they were not entirely alone. "Can you pinpoint the source?" Zara asked. "Trying, Captain," Jian said, his brow furrowed in concentration. "It's very weak, almost undetectable. It's coming from somewhere ahead." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the endless blackness before them. "Plot a course, Jian. Let's see what it is." The Stardust Drifter changed course, its powerful engines pushing it deeper into the void. The rhythmic pulse grew slightly stronger, but it remained faint, a whisper in the vast silence. As they ventured further, the ship's systems began to exhibit subtle anomalies. The lights flickered, the displays glitched, and the hum of the life support systems faltered, then returned to normal, as if the ship itself was struggling to maintain its equilibrium in this strange, empty space. "Captain," Jian said, his voice laced with concern, "I'm detecting fluctuations in the ship's energy fields. They're unstable." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the void. "Keep an eye on them, Jian, and keep me informed of any changes." The crew, a tight-knit group forged in the crucible of deep space exploration, exchanged worried glances. They had faced many dangers together, from rogue asteroids to hostile alien encounters, but this was different. This was a silent, unseen threat, a sense of unease that seeped into their bones, a feeling that they were being watched, that they were trespassing on something ancient and powerful. Dr. Eris Thorne, the ship's astrophysicist, a man whose passion for the cosmos bordered on religious fervor, stood beside Zara, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and apprehension. "It's incredible," he murmured, his voice barely audible. "It's like we've entered a realm beyond our understanding." Zara nodded, her gaze still fixed on the void. "It's certainly unlike anything I've ever seen," she said. The Stardust Drifter continued its journey into the void, its engines pushing it deeper into the unknown. The rhythmic pulse grew slightly stronger, but it remained faint, a whisper in the vast silence. The ship's systems continued to exhibit subtle anomalies, the lights flickering, the displays glitching, and the hum of the life support systems faltering, then returning to normal. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, watched and waited, their senses heightened, their minds filled with questions. As they ventured further, the void seemed to grow darker, the silence more profound. It was as if the ship was being swallowed by the darkness, consumed by the emptiness. The crew felt a growing sense of isolation, a feeling that they were drifting into a realm beyond the reach of humanity, a place where the laws of physics were different, where the very fabric of reality was warped and twisted. "Captain," Jian said, his voice laced with a hint of fear, "I'm detecting a distortion in spacetime. It's like a ripple, a wave." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the void. "Plot a course, Jian," she said, her voice steady. "Let's see what's causing it." The Stardust Drifter changed course again, its powerful engines pushing it towards the source of the distortion. The rhythmic pulse grew stronger, and the ship's systems began to exhibit more pronounced anomalies. The lights flickered more frequently, the displays glitched more severely, and the hum of the life support systems became erratic. "Captain," Jian said, his voice trembling slightly, "I'm detecting a gravitational anomaly. It's pulling us in." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the void. "Hold course, Jian," she said, her voice steady. "We're going to see what's at the heart of this." The Stardust Drifter continued its journey into the void, its engines straining against the gravitational pull, its hull creaking under the stress. The rhythmic pulse grew stronger, and the ship's systems began to fail. One by one the lights flickered and died, plunging the bridge into darkness. The displays went blank, leaving only the faint glow of the emergency lighting, and the hum of the life support systems faded into silence, leaving only the sound of their own breathing in the oppressive stillness. They were adrift in the void, their ship crippled, their senses overwhelmed by the darkness and the silence. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, Zara Kalen remained calm, her gaze fixed on the void, her mind filled with a sense of foreboding, a feeling that they were about to encounter something truly extraordinary, something that would change their understanding of the universe forever. The Stardust Drifter, now limping through the void, its systems flickering and faltering, approached the source of the rhythmic pulse and the gravitational anomaly. The oppressive darkness, which had seemed to swallow the ship whole, began to yield to a faint, ethereal glow emerging from the depths of the void, a sight that defied all expectations. A colossal sphere, its surface shimmering with an iridescent sheen, suspended in the emptiness. It was a structure of impossible scale, its smooth, seamless surface reflecting the faint starlight like a cosmic mirror, a beacon in the abyss. Captain Zara Kalen, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and disbelief, stared at the sphere, her mind struggling to comprehend its sheer size and alien beauty. It was as if a piece of a nebula had been sculpted into a perfect sphere, its surface alive with a subtle, shifting play of colors. Like a living opal, the sphere hung in the void, seemingly weightless, its presence radiating an aura of ancient power. A silent testament to a technology beyond human understanding. "By the stars," whispered Dr. Eris Thorne, his voice filled with a reverence that bordered on religious awe. It's like nothing I've ever seen. It defies all known physics." Eris, a man whose passion for the cosmos was as boundless as the universe itself, was captivated by the sheer impossibility of the structure. He had spent his life studying the celestial bodies, unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. But this was something else entirely. It was a tangible enigma, a physical manifestation of the universe's infinite potential. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and wonder, watched as the Stardust Drifter approached the sphere. The ship, now operating on emergency power, moved slowly, its engines straining to maintain its course. The rhythmic pulse, which had been a faint whisper in the void, now pulsed with a steady, resonant thrum, filling the ship with a palpable energy. "Scans, Jian," Zara ordered, her voice steady, despite the tremor of excitement that ran through her. "Give me everything you've got." Lieutenant Jian, his fingers flying across the console, worked frantically to bring the ship's sensors back online. The displays flickered and sputtered, but slowly, the ship's systems began to respond, painting a picture of the sphere in intricate detail. The scans revealed a network of intricate energy conduits crisscrossing the sphere's surface, pulsing with faint, dormant energy. The conduits, which glowed with a soft, blue light, formed a complex, interconnected web, like the veins of a living organism. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice laced with awe. "The surface is incredibly smooth, almost frictionless. It's composed of some kind of exotic alloy, something we've never encountered before. It's incredibly dense, yet it seems to absorb and refract light in a way that defies conventional physics." Within the sphere, the scans revealed a complex system of chambers and mechanisms, a labyrinth of interconnected structures that pulsed with faint, rhythmic energy. The chambers, which varied in size and shape, were filled with strange, alien technology, devices that defied all attempts at analysis. Some chambers glowed with an internal light, their surfaces alive with shifting patterns of energy, while others were shrouded in darkness, their secrets hidden from the ship's sensors. "No life signs, Captain," Jian reported, his voice laced with a hint of disappointment. "But there's a lot of residual energy, like the sphere was recently active." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the sphere. "Keep scanning, Jian. Look for any signs of activity, any patterns, anything that might give us a clue as to its purpose." The Stardust Drifter continued its approach, its sensors probing the sphere's surface, its computer analyzing the data, trying to decipher the secrets of this alien artifact. The crew watched in rapt attention, their minds filled with questions, their imaginations sparked by the sheer wonder of the discovery. "Captain," Eris said, his voice filled with excitement, "I'm detecting anomalies in the sphere's gravitational field. It's like it's generating its own space-time, warping the fabric of reality around it." Zara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. The sphere was not just a passive object, it was an active force, manipulating the very fabric of the universe around it. It was a testament to a technology far beyond human comprehension, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. "What could it be, Captain?" Jian asked, his voice filled with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "What's its purpose?" Zara shook her head, her gaze still fixed on the sphere. "I don't know, Jian," she said, "but I intend to find out." The Stardust Drifter moved closer, its sensors probing the sphere's surface, its computer analyzing the data, trying to piece together the puzzle of this alien artifact. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of awe and apprehension, watched and waited, their senses heightened, their minds filled with questions. As they approached the sphere, the rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a steady thrum that resonated through the ship's hull. The ship's systems, which had been flickering and faltering, began to stabilize, as if the sphere's energy was somehow replenishing them. The lights brightened, the displays cleared, and the hum of the life support systems returned to normal. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice filled with surprise, "the ship's systems are stabilizing. It's like the sphere is healing them." Zara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. The sphere was not just a source of energy, it was a source of life, a beacon of hope in the vast emptiness of the void. "It's incredible," Eris murmured, his voice filled with awe. "It's like it's alive." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the sphere. "It's certainly unlike anything I've ever seen," she said. The Stardust Drifter continued its approach, its sensors probing the sphere's surface, its computer analyzing the data, trying to decipher the secrets of this alien artifact. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of awe and wonder, watched and waited, their senses heightened, their minds filled with questions. As they drew closer, the sphere's iridescent surface began to shimmer and glow, its colors shifting and swirling, like a living aura. The rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a powerful thrum that vibrated through the ship's hull, filling the crew with a sense of anticipation. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice laced with excitement, "I'm detecting a signal. It's coming from inside the sphere." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the glowing surface. "Can you decode it?" she asked. Trying, Captain, Jian replied, his fingers flying across the console. It's complex. I've never seen anything like it. The Stardust Drifter continued its approach, its sensors probing the sphere's surface, its computer analyzing the data, trying to decipher the secrets of this alien artifact. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of awe and wonder, watched and waited, their senses heightened, their minds filled with questions. They had found something truly extraordinary. Something that would change their understanding of the universe forever. They were on the verge of uncovering a cosmic secret, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. The Stardust Drifter, now enveloped in the sphere's ethereal glow, hovered like a curious insect before a cosmic flower. The rhythmic pulse, once a faint whisper, had amplified into a resonant thrum, vibrating through the ship's hull, a tangible energy that stirred both awe and unease within the crew. The sphere's iridescent surface shimmered, its colors shifting and swirling, a mesmerizing display of cosmic artistry. It was a silent symphony, a dance of light and energy that seemed to speak a language beyond human comprehension. Captain Zara Kalen, her gaze unwavering, watched as Lieutenant Jian worked feverishly at his console. The signal emanating from within the sphere was a puzzle, a complex tapestry of data that defied all conventional decoding methods. It was a language written in the stars, a code woven into the very fabric of space-time. Any progress, Jian? Zara asked, her voice steady, though a tremor of anticipation ran through her. It's like nothing I've ever seen, Captain, Jian replied, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. It's not just a signal, it's a stream of data, a complex algorithm. It's like a language, but not one I recognize. The data stream was a chaotic jumble of symbols and equations, a swirling vortex of information that seemed to defy all logic. It was a language of prime numbers and fractal patterns, of quantum entanglement and gravitational waves. It was a language that spoke of the universe's deepest secrets, of the birth of stars and the dance of galaxies. Try running it through the universal translator, Zara suggested. Maybe it can find some common ground. Jian nodded, his brow furrowed in concentration. He rerouted the data stream through the ship's universal translator, a sophisticated AI program designed to decipher alien languages. The translator whirred and clicked, its processors working at maximum capacity, but the result was the same, a jumble of incomprehensible symbols. It's no use, Captain, Jian reported, his voice laced with frustration. The translator can't make heads or tails of it. It's like it's speaking a language that predates the very concept of language. Dr. Aristhorn, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and excitement, leaned over Jian's shoulder, his gaze fixed on the swirling data stream. It's incredible, he murmured, his voice barely audible. It's like it's speaking the language of the universe itself. Zara nodded, her gaze still fixed on the sphere. We need to find a way to understand it, she said. It might hold the key to the sphere's purpose. To gain a closer look, they decided to deploy a remote drone into the sphere's interior. The drone, a small, agile craft equipped with advanced sensors and a high-resolution camera, was launched from the Stardust Drifter's hangar bay. It approached the sphere's surface, its camera transmitting a live feed to the bridge. The drone's feed revealed a seamless, shimmering surface, a mirror-like expanse that reflected the ship's lights. As the drone drew closer, the surface began to ripple, like water disturbed by a gentle breeze. A section of the surface parted, revealing a dark, yawning opening, a gateway into the sphere's interior. The drone entered the opening, its camera transmitting images of a vast, transforming chamber. The chamber's walls shifted and morphed, their surfaces glowing with pulsating light. The chamber's interior was a kaleidoscope of colors and patterns, a living canvas of cosmic artistry. Holographic projections appeared, depicting cosmic events, the birth of stars, the formation of galaxies, the dance of celestial bodies, a breathtaking spectacle of cosmic creation. The crew watched in rapt attention, their faces etched with awe and wonder. They were witnessing the universe's grand narrative, a cosmic ballet performed by the sphere's ancient technology. It was a spectacle that transcended human understanding, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. It's incredible, Eris murmured, his voice filled with reverence. It's like we're witnessing the universe's creation. Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the holographic projections. It's certainly unlike anything I've ever seen, she said. The drone continued its exploration, venturing deeper into the sphere's interior. It passed through a series of interconnected chambers, each one a unique display of cosmic phenomena. Some chambers glowed with an internal light, their surfaces alive with shifting patterns of energy, while others were shrouded in darkness, their secrets hidden from the drone's sensors. As the drone ventured further, the rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a powerful thrum that vibrated through the ship's hull. The holographic projections grew more vivid, more detailed, their images becoming more complex, more intricate. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice laced with excitement, "I'm detecting a pattern in the data stream. It's like a code, a sequence." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the drone's feed. "Can you decipher it?" she asked. "Trying, Captain," Jian replied, his fingers flying across the console. It's complex, but I think I'm starting to see a pattern." Jian worked feverishly, his mind racing, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. He analyzed the data stream, searching for patterns, for sequences, for any clues that might reveal the code's meaning. He ran the data through various algorithms, comparing it to known mathematical sequences, to astronomical data, to linguistic patterns. After hours of intense analysis, Jian finally found a breakthrough. He discovered that the code was based on a sequence of prime numbers, a mathematical pattern that was both elegant and complex. The prime numbers were arranged in a specific order, creating a sequence that was both unique and meaningful. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice filled with excitement, "I think I've cracked the code. It's a sequence of prime numbers, arranged in a specific order. It's like a mathematical language." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the drone's feed. "What does it mean, Jian?" she asked. "I'm not sure, Captain," Jian replied. "But I think it's instructions, a set of commands. It's like the sphere is telling us what to do." The drone continued its exploration, venturing deeper into the sphere's interior. It reached a central chamber, a vast, circular space that pulsed with a brilliant, white light. The chamber's walls were covered with intricate patterns, symbols that glowed with a soft, ethereal light. As the drone approached the central chamber, the rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a deafening roar that filled the ship. The holographic projections reached their peak, displaying a breathtaking spectacle of cosmic creation, a symphony of stars and galaxies. Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice echoed through the drone's feed, filling the bridge with a sense of ancient power. "Initiating Genesis sequence," the voice intoned. "Core parameters unstable." The sphere's energy output surged, creating a localized singularity, a swirling vortex of gravity that pulled the Stardust Drifter towards it. The ship's systems went haywire, alarms blaring, lights flickering, and the hull groaning under the immense gravitational stress. The crew, their faces pale with fear, realized that the sphere was not just a passive observer of the universe. It was an active participant, a cosmic engine that was attempting to recreate the universe. But something had gone wrong, something had destabilized the core parameters, and now they were caught in its chaotic energy. "Captain," Jian shouted, his voice laced with panic, "we're being pulled in. The sphere's generating a localized singularity." Zara, her mind racing, ordered a full-power emergency warp jump, but the ship's systems were too compromised. They were trapped, caught in the grip of the sphere's malfunctioning engine. "We need to find a way to stabilize the core parameters," Eris said, his voice filled with urgency. "The sphere's trying to recreate the universe, but something's wrong." They realized the sphere was a cosmic engine, a device designed to simulate and potentially recreate the universe. But it was malfunctioning, and they were caught in its chaotic energy. They needed to find a way to communicate with the sphere, to understand its language, to stabilize its core parameters before it was too late. The resonant voice, a deep, ancient timbre that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of the Stardust Drifter, echoed across the bridge. "Initiating Genesis sequence." Core parameters unstable. The words hung in the air, chilling the crew despite the rising heat of the ship's straining systems. What had been a spectacle of cosmic wonder had abruptly turned into a terrifying ordeal. The sphere, once a source of awe, now pulsed with a malevolent energy, its iridescent surface morphing into a swirling vortex of light and shadow. Captain Zara Kalen, her face grim, watched as the ship's sensors went haywire. The rhythmic pulse, which had been a steady thrum, now pounded like a war drum, shaking the vessel to its core. The holographic projections within the sphere, which had depicted the serene dance of celestial bodies, now flickered and distorted, showing violent cosmic collisions and the chaotic birth of stars. "Captain, we're being pulled in!" Lieutenant Jian shouted, his voice laced with panic. "The sphere's generating a localized singularity. Gravitational forces are off the charts." The ship shuddered violently, its hull groaning under the immense gravitational stress. Alarms blared, red lights flashed, and the ship's artificial gravity flickered, sending loose objects tumbling across the bridge. The crew, their faces pale with fear, struggled to maintain their balance as the Stardust Drifter was dragged inexorably towards the sphere. Dr. Eris Thorne, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and fascination, stared at the chaotic projections on the main view screen. It's trying to recreate the universe," he stammered, his voice barely audible above the din. "But something's wrong. The core parameters are unstable." Zara, her mind racing, ordered a full-power emergency warp jump, a desperate attempt to escape the sphere's gravitational pull. But the ship's systems, already compromised by the sphere's energy, were unable to respond. The warp drive sputtered and failed, leaving them trapped in the sphere's deadly embrace. "We're locked in, Captain," Jian reported, his voice filled with despair. "The singularity's warping spacetime around us. We can't escape." The crew watched in horror as the sphere's surface began to distort, its smooth, iridescent sheen giving way to a swirling vortex of light and shadow. The rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a deafening roar that filled the ship, a primal scream of cosmic energy. "What is it doing?" Eris asked, his voice trembling. "What is this thing?" Zara, her gaze fixed on the chaotic projections, realized the truth. "It's a cosmic engine," she said, her voice grim. "A device designed to simulate and potentially recreate the universe. But it's malfunctioning. It's trying to rewrite reality, and we're caught in the crossfire." The sphere, they realized, was not just an ancient relic. It was a powerful machine, a tool of creation and destruction. It was a testament to a technology far beyond human comprehension, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. But like any machine, it could malfunction, and when it did, the consequences could be catastrophic. The holographic projections showed the birth of a new universe, a chaotic explosion of energy and matter. But the universe was unstable, its laws of physics warped and twisted, its stars and galaxies collapsing into black holes. The sphere's attempt at creation was turning into a cosmic nightmare, a destructive force that threatened to consume them all. "We need to find a way to stop it," Zara said, her voice filled with urgency. "We need to stabilize the core parameters." "But how?" The sphere's language was beyond their comprehension, its technology beyond their understanding. They were like ants trying to fix a supercomputer, their efforts futile, their fates sealed. "The code," Jian said, his voice laced with desperation. "The sequence of prime numbers. It's the only thing we have. It might be the key to stabilizing the core parameters." Zara nodded, her mind racing. "Run the sequence through the ship's computer," she ordered. "See if we can find any patterns, any clues." Jian worked frantically, his fingers flying across the console. He rerouted the sequence of prime numbers through the ship's computer, analyzing it, comparing it to known mathematical patterns, to astronomical data, to linguistic structures. The computer whirred and clicked, its processors working at maximum capacity. It was a race against time, a desperate attempt to decipher the sphere's language, to understand its purpose, to find a way to stop its destructive rampage. "Captain," Jian reported, his voice filled with a mixture of hope and fear. "I'm detecting a resonance." The sequence of prime numbers is resonating with the sphere's energy field. It's like they're speaking the same language. Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the chaotic projections. What does it mean, Jian? She asked. I'm not sure, Captain, Jian replied. But I think it's a way to communicate with the sphere, to send it instructions, to stabilize its core parameters. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and desperation, watched as Jian worked to translate the sequence of prime numbers into a set of instructions that the sphere could understand. It was a long shot, a desperate gamble, but it was their only chance. As they worked, the sphere's energy continued to escalate, its gravitational pull growing stronger, its chaotic projections becoming more violent. The Stardust Drifter shuddered and groaned, its hull straining under the immense stress. The crew felt a growing sense of dread, a feeling that they were on the verge of being consumed by the sphere's destructive power. We need to hurry, Eris said, his voice trembling. If we don't stabilize the core parameters soon, it'll be too late. Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the swirling vortex of light and shadow. They were caught in a cosmic storm, a battle against time and space, a desperate attempt to avert a catastrophic destruction. The sphere, once a source of wonder, had become a force of terror, a reminder of the universe's infinite power and the fragility of existence. They were racing against extinction, hoping against hope that they could find a way to tame the cosmic engine before it tore them and everything around them apart. The Stardust Drifter trembled, caught in the relentless gravitational pull of the sphere's malfunctioning Genesis sequence. Within the ship, the crew, their faces etched with a desperate hope, focused all their efforts on deciphering the prime number sequence. The swirling vortex of light and shadow on the main view screen was a constant reminder of the impending destruction, a cosmic storm threatening to engulf them all. Lieutenant Jian, his eyes bloodshot and his fingers flying across the holographic interface, worked tirelessly to translate the sequence into a language the sphere could understand. He knew that their survival hinged on his ability to find a pattern, a structure within the seemingly random numbers. The sequence was a puzzle, a complex mathematical riddle that held the key to their salvation. It's not just random numbers, Captain, Jian said, his voice hoarse from hours of concentration. There's a structure, a rhythm. It's like a mathematical symphony. Dr. Eris Thorne, his eyes alight with a newfound sense of purpose, leaned over Jian's shoulder, his gaze fixed on the scrolling numbers. A symphony of primes, he murmured, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and urgency. It's beautiful, elegant. But what does it mean? Zara Kalen, her gaze fixed on the chaotic projections on the main view screen, knew that they didn't have much time. The sphere's energy was escalating, its gravitational pull growing stronger, and the chaotic projections were becoming more violent. They were racing against time, trying to find a way to tame the cosmic engine before it tore them apart. We need to find a way to translate this symphony into instructions, Zara said, her voice steady. Instructions the sphere can understand. Jian nodded, his fingers flying across the console. He ran the prime number sequence through various algorithms, comparing it to known mathematical patterns, to astronomical data, to linguistic structures. He was searching for a Rosetta Stone, a key that would unlock the meaning of the sequence. I'm trying to find a connection to the sphere's energy patterns, Jian said, his voice laced with concentration. If we can match the sequence to the energy fluctuations, we might be able to create a harmonic resonance, a way to stabilize the core parameters. The computer whirred and clicked, its processors working at maximum capacity. It was a complex task, a delicate balancing act that required both intuition and precision. Jian knew that even a slight error could have catastrophic consequences. As Jian worked, Eris analyzed the chaotic projections on the main view screen, searching for patterns, for clues that might help them understand the sphere's malfunctioning Genesis sequence. He noticed that the chaotic projections were not entirely random. They followed a certain pattern, a distorted echo of the universe's creation. Captain, Eris said, his voice filled with excitement. I think I've found a connection. The chaotic projections are a distorted version of the universe's initial expansion. The sphere is trying to recreate the Big Bang, but it's getting the timing wrong. It's like a conductor playing a symphony at the wrong tempo. Zara nodded, her mind racing. So the prime number sequence is the correct tempo? She asked. Possibly, Eris replied. If we can use the sequence to adjust the sphere's energy output, we might be able to bring it back into harmony. Jian, his fingers flying across the console, nodded in agreement. I think I've found a way to translate the sequence into energy fluctuations, he said. We can modulate the ship's energy output to match the prime number pattern. It's a long shot, but it's worth a try. Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the swirling vortex of light and shadow. Do it, Jian, she ordered. We don't have anything to lose. Jian rerouted the ship's energy systems, channeling the power through a series of modulators that were programmed to match the prime number sequence. The ship's energy fields began to pulse, their frequency fluctuating in accordance with the mathematical symphony. The crew watched in tense anticipation as the ship's energy fields resonated with the sphere's energy patterns. The rhythmic pulse, which had been a chaotic roar, began to smooth out, its tempo becoming more regular, more harmonious. The chaotic projections on the main view screen began to stabilize, their violent distortions giving way to a more serene display of cosmic creation. The swirling vortex of light and shadow began to dissipate, replaced by a soft, ethereal glow. It's working, Captain! Jian shouted, his voice filled with relief. The sphere's energy is stabilizing. The crew watched in awe as the sphere's genesis sequence began to correct itself, its chaotic energy transforming into a harmonious symphony of creation. The rhythmic pulse, once a source of terror, now resonated with a sense of peace, a gentle thrum that filled the ship with a sense of calm. We did it, Eris murmured, his voice filled with wonder. We harmonized the core parameters. Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the stabilized projections. They had faced the chaos of creation and found a way to bring it back into balance. They had deciphered the mathematical symphony and used it to tame the cosmic engine. They had found a key to salvation within the language of primes. The Stardust Drifter, once a vessel caught in the throes of a cosmic tempest, now floated in a sea of tranquility. The chaotic energy that had threatened to tear the ship apart had subsided, replaced by a gentle, resonant hum that vibrated through the hull. The sphere, once a malevolent force, now emanated a soft, ethereal glow, its surface shimmering with a kaleidoscope of peaceful colors. Captain Zara Kalen, her face etched with relief, watched as the chaotic projections on the main view screen transformed into a serene display of cosmic creation. The violent distortions had vanished, replaced by a breathtaking panorama of stars forming, galaxies spiraling, and nebulae glowing with vibrant hues. It was as if they were witnessing the universe's birth, a cosmic symphony played out before their very eyes. It's beautiful, Dr. Eris Thorne murmured, his voice filled with awe. It's like the sphere is showing us the true Genesis sequence, the way it was meant to be. Lieutenant Jian, his fingers still hovering over the console, nodded in agreement. The energy patterns have stabilized, Captain, he reported. The core parameters are aligned. The sphere is operating at optimal levels. The rhythmic pulse, which had been a chaotic roar, now resonated with a gentle, harmonious thrum. It was a sound that filled the ship with a sense of peace, a soothing melody that calmed their frayed nerves and eased their anxieties. We did it, Zara said, her voice filled with quiet satisfaction. We harmonized the core parameters. We brought the sphere back into balance. The crew, their faces etched with a mixture of relief and wonder, watched as the sphere's genesis sequence played out on the main view screen. They were witnessing the universe's grand narrative, a cosmic ballet performed by the sphere's ancient technology. It was a spectacle that transcended human understanding, a glimpse into the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. The holographic projections showed the birth of a new universe, a harmonious explosion of energy and matter. Stars ignited, galaxies formed, and planets coalesced, all in perfect synchronicity. It was a universe of balance, a cosmos of harmony, a testament to the power of creation. As the Genesis sequence reached its climax, the rhythmic pulse intensified, becoming a powerful, resonant thrum that filled the ship with a sense of overwhelming energy. The holographic projections reached their peak, displaying a breathtaking spectacle of cosmic creation, a symphony of stars and galaxies. Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice echoed through the ship, filling the bridge with a sense of ancient power. Genesis sequence stabilized, the voice intoned. Core parameters aligned. Mathematical harmony achieved. The voice, which had once been a source of fear, now resonated with a sense of peace, a calming presence that filled the crew with a sense of tranquility. It was as if the sphere itself was expressing its gratitude, acknowledging their efforts, confirming their success. The holographic projections began to fade, their vibrant colors dimming, their intricate patterns dissolving. The rhythmic pulse softened, becoming a gentle hum that vibrated through the ship's hull. The sphere's iridescent surface began to shimmer and glow, its colors shifting and swirling, like a living aurora. It's beautiful," Eris murmured, his voice filled with reverence. "It's like the sphere is thanking us, showing us its appreciation." Zara nodded, her gaze fixed on the shimmering sphere. "It's certainly unlike anything I've ever seen," she said. The crew watched in awe as the sphere's energy fields began to dissipate, its glow fading into the void. The rhythmic pulse softened, becoming a faint whisper that echoed through the ship's empty spaces. "What now, Captain?" Jian asked, his voice filled with a mixture of curiosity and anticipation. Zara turned to him, her gaze steady. "No," she said. "We observe. We document. We try to understand what we've witnessed." The Stardust Drifter remained in orbit around the sphere, its sensors probing the ancient artifact, its computer analyzing the data, trying to decipher the secrets of its technology. The crew worked tirelessly, documenting every detail, recording every anomaly, searching for clues that might reveal the sphere's purpose. They discovered that the sphere was not just a cosmic engine, it was a repository of knowledge, a library of the universe's history, a record of its creation. The prime number sequence, they realized, was not just a set of instructions, it was a key, a code that unlocked the sphere's vast database. They learned that the sphere had been built by an ancient civilization, a race of cosmic engineers who had mastered the art of manipulating space-time. They had created the sphere as a tool for understanding the universe, a device for simulating and potentially recreating the cosmos. But the sphere had malfunctioned, its core parameters destabilized, its genesis sequence gone awry. They had been drawn into its chaotic energy, caught in the crossfire of its malfunctioning engine. And they had found a way to bring it back into balance, to harmonize its core parameters, to restore its cosmic symphony. They had deciphered the mathematical language of the universe, and used it to tame the cosmic engine. They had witnessed the birth of a universe, a spectacle of creation that transcended human understanding. They had experienced the power of cosmic harmony, a force that could both create and destroy. And they had emerged from the experience transformed, their minds filled with a sense of wonder, their hearts filled with a sense of awe. They had glimpsed the infinite possibilities of the cosmos, the boundless potential of creation. They had found resonance and resolution within a cosmic symphony.